Hello everyone. We'll start today's session shortly. Just couple more minutes. By then you can type a yes in the chat box if you can hear me. Thanks Manoj, Balaji, Gaurav. Thank you for confirming. Just couple more minutes and we'll start today's session. Manoj, so the session is for 1 hour. We'll just know how this Ghibli got. Is it overhyped? How is the trend? And then about the AIML program, and the session will be over. Hey everyone, we'll start today's session by 6:10. By then, you can just type in your name and your profession with the work experience so that a speaker can address it. Just couple more minutes. Sorry for the delay. Hey Pratibha, yes, this is part of AIML PGP program offered by UT Austin. Okay, speaker is here.
Hey, hi, Lakshana.
Yeah. Okay, we have our speaker today. Let me just introduce our speaker in the topic. Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's webinar, which is the Ghibli trend. Uh, Ghibli through AI's eyes, how machine learning is redefining art. I would say it is a pleasure to have you all join us as we explore a truly fascinating and emerging space where technology meets creativity and where the timeless beauty of art converges with the evolving power of AI, which is the artificial intelligence. So, in today's session, we will explore how this machine learning is influencing the world of art and design using Studio Ghibli's iconic visual storytelling as our lens. So Studio Ghibli has long been, celebrated for its distinct art style, emotional depth, and imaginative words. But what happens when machine learning models are trained to understand, replicate, or even reimagine that style? How is this AI learning from human creativity? And what does this mean for the future of artistic expression? So all these questions are there, right? So, we will be answering all those. And to take us through this fascinating topic in greater detail, we are delighted to have us with us our speaker for today, Rushikesh Meherwade, who is the Vice President of Data Science at Motilal Oswal. Rushikesh is an accomplished data scientist with over a decade of experience in performance testing, application monitoring, and Java tuning. His expertise spans across NLP, which is natural language processing, machine learning, and mentoring teching professionals. Um, Also, he's passionate about educating the next generation of AI professionals. Having worked with top edtech platforms and corporate giants like Capgemini and Renault, his vast industry experience, combined with his passion for teaching, makes him the perfect guy to answer all your questions about this exciting field of AI/ML. And also, remember the session is interactive. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat or in the Q&A tab as we go along. Our main goal is to make sure you leave today with all the information you need to take action and to step confidently into the future of AI. Also, please remember no question is too big or too small. Ask as many questions as you'd like. So, without further ado, let me invite Rushikesh Meherwade to take us through today's session. Rushikesh, over to you.
Hey, Lakshana. Thank you very much for introduction. Hi, everyone. This is Rushikesh here. So please, in your chat, mention yes if you are able to hear me loud and clear. So that will help me to start. Great, great, guys. Thanks a lot for your feedback. So uh, good to see all your energy and welcome on the topic. It's a very interesting topic that we have today. Let me start with the presentation. Cool. So Ghibli through an AI's eyes, like how actually this machine learning models, this LLMs and all that we see, how do they really actually look into this models, how look into this outputs, images, what is really happening down the line? So we will try to take a helicopter view of this thing. We will try to uncover some insights as what is really happening. So great, let's get started. Most of my introduction already the team has given, so I won't go much into it, but just to highlight, I have around 13 plus years of experience in the industry, and with that, it's ranging from testing ML, AI, Gen AI, so all those technical changes which are happening in terms of the advancements that are there. So, been going through it from a good time. So, let's uncover what's happening in the industry with this. Okay, great. So, what is this Ghibli trend that recently started. So I know this is one of a trend that has gone viral with OpenAI, but like this with OpenAI, there are so many different kind of trends that keeps coming. But Ghibli art is one of a trend that just changed the whole thing. So Ghibli, I think many of you who have been like have seen animes from Japan and all. Like I know many of you have seen the Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece. Like many of these animes, some of them are part of the Studio Ghibli artwork, where this interesting visualization, which are hand drawn, are coming from. Till now, it used to take a good amount of efforts for authors to create this kind of hand drawn uh, visualizations. But when Sam Altman came up last time with their presentation around these models, their team they represented as a Ghibli image. They showed that as a Ghibli image, and then everybody started to look around this Ghibli image. But the main thing that happened is their visualization models or video and image models, mainly the image models, they have grown a lot. Like till now, that used to be working in a different way, but now they have made it very good. Where earlier it used to have a lot of challenges when you were creating images through it. But the recent models, they can understand your prompt very well. Even the real images can understand very well and do a lot of interesting things. So Ghibli started as a one of a trending things out of it, but in terms of the output from the image-based models, a lot of things actually changed. Then we'll just see like what is this Ghibli art as agenda. We will understand how ChatGPT Ghibli art actually differs from what is actually there. Uh, Different image tools which are there, AI and artistic styles, the evolution that has happened from different type of models over the time. Like there were GAN-based models, generative adversarial network-based models, and the diffusion-based models. So there is a lot of technical advancements that has made it to come to this stage right now. Then we will also see like okay how it is different, like the hand-drawn Ghibli art and the AI-generated models art. Then at the end, the style transfer from a real world, you can add a lot of different kind of styles to this model's output. You can change the background, you can add a person, you can remove a person, you can make a person look different. A fat person can be made in a thin way. So all of those things can be done. And we will also go through the different future possibilities which are there through this model. And just before we start, let's make it a very interacting session. I want you guys to be fully open with your questions anytime you have. Don't try to shy away with any questions. Just go ahead with any kind of questions that you have. Okay, so great. Let's get started. So I may answer the questions in between, but whenever you have questions, just keep it over the chat. In between, I will have a look and will be able to respond to you. Okay, cool, great. So what is really happening? So OpenAI basically announced this uh, tool for all the users. Like, but when they really started few days back, when they announced this thing, they opened it for people. But suddenly there was so much load within few days that Sam Altman has to say that our GPUs are literally melting because of the load that we are getting. And then they had to stop it for few days. For some time they have to stop it and they again opened it for everyone now. So now again it is open for everybody. There are some limits to the free users, but others can use it in a the paid users can use it in an unlimited way. So this trend actually like gained a good popularity like after they created some instructions around this Ghibli style images. It started all with the Sam Altman team, like three, four people. They're sitting in a room and they have created their Ghibli image. And when they started to circulate this, people were shocked to see the output. And now everybody want to look like you. So many people have tried with their family images, their friends. Everybody has tried with their own selfies, everything. Now people have started to create this Ghibli style images because they're very interesting. Earlier, it used to be like you have to get a paid artist who can make some images, like some kind of a drawing from your face, images, and everything. But now it's everyone's hand. You just have a mobile, you upload an image, and for you, a very much similar looking uh, Ghibli styled artistic, the Studio Ghibli style artistic images are available to you. So that's the beauty of it, uh, which is like, which was very difficult to get earlier, but now with this models, it is, you are able to get it much faster in a click of a button way. This image is like already been popular. The Ghibli style, the studio has been very popular before to this, before this trend, where like this kind of images were being circulated. There were many different good movies that the Studio Ghibli art has come up with in the anime industry, where their style, the way their images look, that has been very popular. So ChatGPT, like usage, as you see, they are coming up with new kind of trends, and with every trend, that thing is like spiking. The number of users who are using it is spiking. Everyone knows about AI now. Like everybody can interact with AI nowadays because of ChatGPT. The way they have transformed the whole industry, the way they have transformed what is meant by AI. You can communicate with it so efficiently. You can get these images. There are also video-based models. So lot of things like Sora is one of the video models. So ChatGPT has been like one of the pioneers in the generative AI LLM space, and every time its usage is like keep on going high. So Sam Altman revealed that millions of users are engaging with their tool every hour. So every hour you can imagine that millions of people are interacting with their tool. Like this is a systems in a world like where every like majority of the people are using it. So after Google and all, I think the OpenAI ChatGPTs are something that is having a more usage now. But even more than Google, I think the Google search ChatGPT is being used now. Ghibli style actually inspired more people. That OpenAI Sam Altman said that like it is surpassed 150 million active weekly users. But after getting to know about the Ghibli artistic style, lot more users started to coming on the platform. Lot more people started to getting registered and try out their platform. So again, like the usage of the platform has grown very big. Sorry, shared that user demand has been like unprecedented. That's what Sam Altman has mentioned, with over 1 million users joining in just 1 hour. Like within an hour, 1 million users have joined, and despite like already reaching 70 million monthly users. So 700 million, sorry. So it's a 700 million monthly users they already have. And after this Ghibli trend which started, they started getting a lot more new type of users. Now, whether you should upload your images, not upload the images to this kind of tools, that's again a different type of a question. Everybody is doing it, but sometimes it could be a safety issue that this can be used for fine tuning with your images. So you should see that okay, in the chat GPT there is an option which says that do not use my data for training. You should disable that. So that's one warning that I would like to suggest everyone. So it's interesting, but you should take care that what you're uploading, any kind of a personal thing that you upload to the chat GPT, can be used as a fine tuning thing. So you should be careful like what you're uploading, your kids, your family, your surrounding. So what you're trying to upload, you should be careful with that. Let me just have a look at the question. So Atul asked how critical it could be cyber risk by using Ghibli trend or training these models. Yeah, so that's what I think I just mentioned. I think Yogesh, if you have raised hand, please put your question in the chat box. I'll be able to have a look and answer to it. So please go ahead if you have a question. Okay, so cyber risk, yes, Atul, it is a cyber risk that you should be careful with like what you're trying to upload to the systems because they can be fine-tuned. As I mentioned, there is an option that you should see, you should disable if you are uploading any kind of a personal things over their platform. So it should not be the case that if it's a train model based on the history that I have created. It's possible your personal data or whatever you have uploaded, whatever you talked about, can be trained and will be available as part of a future model. That is possible. So you should be careful with what you are pushing there. Okay. So talking about the Ghibli art, the Ghibli studio basically was founded by a few Japanese people. Like Japan is a very famous for the artistic things in terms of anime, manga, and all those things. So Japan has been very popular in terms of this artistic creations from the animations, drawings, and all. So if anybody here like who follows anime and manga, they may know that the artistic style that they have is very unique and very good. So by some people, like they started the studio Ghibli. The Ghibli name, the interesting thing about the name this Ghibli is like this is coming from Libyan Arabic word which means a hot desert wind. Okay, and this basically symbolizes something new in the animation world. So they started with this word Ghibli, which is there's something new we want to create in the animation world. And that's where this name came from. And it's basically a signature style that they have with the different type of colors like pastel colors, muted color palettes, which are like intricate, having some intricate details which feels like more of a dream-like nostalgic visual experience. So if you see all those Ghibli style images, you will feel some kind of a nostalgic feel with those images. It gives a smile like when you are trying to create like uh, your images you're trying to upload and get some Ghibli out of it. It gives you a feel of some nostalgic thing because it makes some slight changes, that colors which are there, that background, that expressions and all that you see out of those images. That's just very nice. So this art style that they have is very like a timeless um, thing that you get a feel of it, and especially among the like anime lovers which are there, anime lovers which are there worldwide, who really like Japan's creativity, warmth, and depth which is there in terms of this anime and manga. So the Ghibli art trend recently like went very wide with what we have right now. The major drive of this trend was the growing global anime audience. Like anime audience is actually growing. I have been following anime from a long time, I would say, from the childhood. So I'm really interested for this artistic style. Like it gives a very nostalgic feeling in terms of what we have been looking from the childhood. So it gives you that different aura. Okay, now coming to let me just see if there are any questions. Okay, I think last question was from Atul. Guys, great. Like if you have any questions in between, please go ahead and add to it. Cool. So, like, what's really different about the ChatGPT's Ghibli art that really differs from the different image tools which are there? So, one thing is it's a native image generation. There's like a getting generated by itself, the full-fledged generation that is happening with the new advancement that has happened to the model of OpenAI, which is a GPT-4o. So it has a built-in image generator. So DALI is one of those models, which is uh, additional model. The way you have GPT-4o, GPT-O1, O1 mini, like all those different models which are there for the text. Similarly, for images, there is a model called as a DALI. So what really happens is there is some integration that happens when you ask any kind of a question. The model tries to get the response from the underlying model and get the response. So it tries to generate the way you see the textual generation that is happening from the model. Same way, the images are also getting generated fully from the scratch. It also gives you like customization options. I don't know how many of you have tried. You can do a lot of enhancements or customizations to the image that is coming as part of a output. You can all set it as part of a prompt where you can specify what should be the aspect ratio, what kind of colors that should be used, any kind of a changes you want in the color, and how do you want to set the background. Like you want to make any kind of a precise editing. The way you try to use the paint. In paint, when you have an image, you can do step by step changes to an image. Same way, You get a one image, you add some enhancement, you mention that okay, change this thing in the image, and you will be able to see that change happening in the image and you see it. Like some of the things that I've tried, like some people who were fat in the images, I have made them thin in the images. We can say that okay, make them more attractive, make them look like this, or even fun thing for people who are like already thin, you can make them fat, and so that will kind of a fun thing can be added. But not just that, for a business applications, you can set up a lot of different customizations, like what you really want, how you really want it. So whenever, for example, your business may have certain conditions that okay, only this type of images should be used, this type of colors should be used. So those kind of modifications you can customize with this. Earlier also it used to happen, but used to be like a lot more prompting. But now with a lesser number of prompts, you can achieve a good customization in these images. And similarly, Studio Ghibli art is just a one type of a art that is being generated out of it. So GPT-4 like enables this generation of images. So one of a type of inspirations which is there in the Studio Ghibli, which provides this very distinctive aesthetic characters characterized by this soft images that you see, the faces, the colors, everything. So that's a core part of a Studio Ghibli. But it's not just limited to Studio Ghibli. This new model, the Foro model, has done a lot of advancements in terms of textual generation in the image. When you see the text, earlier what used to happen is when you used to ask the model to generate an image with a text, the text used to always fail. You will see there are breaks in the texts are not coming right. So a lot of issues used to happen. But with the new model, the text will look good. Like it will have a very good output in terms of a text. The images quality is good. So lot of details are now looking good in the images that are being generated. And there are like very high details. The model is like able to produce a very photorealistic images now. The rendering may take up to like 1 minute. So if you try to generate it, it takes a good amount of time in the UI or with the API when you're generating these images right now. These models are taking a good amount of time. But over the time, what we have seen is this thing starts improving. So the way GPT-4 model also used to take like GPT-4, like from 3.5 for all of this used to take a lot of time for generation. But now we see that all of these models are like very fast. So when these things are coming up new, there will be some delay, but over the time, this thing starts taking a speed. Okay, that's what happens in the progress from these models. As I mentioned, there are some integrated editing capabilities directly available. ChatGPT UI also comes with like when you generate an image, if you open the image, there will be an edit option. You can select a certain area. You can highlight certain area and say that okay, this area change this thing. So you can specify certain areas and then based on that refinements can be done in the ChatGPT UI. That is possible. You can see that and try it, and it's a very user-friendly experience. Now everybody knows about ChatGPT. It's just prompt output, that kind of a user-friendly style that everybody likes. All of this generative AI-based models, all of them follow this very user-friendly structure. Everyone will have a very similar type of layout. Okay, let me see that I see some questions coming up. How Grok is better as compared to GPT-4? If Grok were more fast, can you be brief? Shobhit, yes. See, there are different models as compared to everybody. Like everybody have a different model. Now, if you see, even in ChatGPT, if you just go with the Foro model will be better. The image generation that used to have like just a text part, and if you do the image generation with like other model like this four and other models, the image generation will be faster. But the recent advancement that has happened with the Foro, that thing is slow. So over the time, all of this model, like whenever they come up with a new thing, there will be slight delay. But over the time, they make some changes and these things start becoming good. So Grok, like recently come up with recent model, but even Grok is going through the different changes. The GPT's image generation capability shows a very good progress right now. Yogesh is asking how. work AI behind Ghibli. Yeah, we will go through some basics of it, Yogesh. Yeah, okay, great. So moving ahead, now AI and the artistic styles, like how they have been progressing. So in terms of the digital art, from last 5, 6 years, there is a good progress that is happening in terms of the images and styles. One of the big thing that is happening is the GAN based models. So in the GAN is one type of model. You may have heard about different type of models. So people who are new to AI, like AI has a lot of different models. So there are CNNs, RNNs, attention, transformer, GAN. All of these are like various types of models which are there in the ecosystem. So one of a type of a model is GAN that actually started to put a lot of emphasis on getting the generation. Like before even the transformer based models, the generation started with the GAN based models. So GAN based models came up with a very unique structure where there are two different systems which are working. One is a generator and uh, one is a discriminator. What really happens is it's like a maker checker. Maker checker is like one somebody is making something, another is a checker. The checker will validate, okay, what you're generating, is it right or wrong? If it is wrong, then he will again get the feedback that, okay, see, this is wrong, this part is wrong. This generator will again make the changes, will again start generating something, then again the checker will check. So this is model configuration. Internally, generator is one type of a neural network you can imagine. This neural network will keep doing some matrix multiplication and come up with the output. And then discriminator is also one type of a neural network. So this neural network's goal is to see that whatever the generator has generated, how does it match to what is expected? So discriminator knows some kind of expectation, like we call it a loss function. We define a loss function saying that, okay, whatever is being generated, is it what we expect? You compare it. If it doesn't compare, if the loss function is high, it should be low. The loss should start reducing if you get what is being generated and what you want is similar, you have a lesser loss function. So a lot of mathematical thing happens internally, like partial derivatives and all that happens in the neural network to try to make all of those things internally. So linear algebra, partial derivative, all of those things goes inside this to make this whole model work. But the overall structure is there is a generator that generates from the scratch, and then there is a discriminator who keeps validating the things because he knows what is right. Generator don't know what is right. His just task is to keep on generating. Discriminator keeps on saying that, okay, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, and randomly it will keep on improving one by one, one by one. So this type of models got very popular. Like before 5, 6 years back, there was a lot of progress that started to happen with the GAN based models. But then, like there are a lot of different type of GAN based models. There is a cycle GAN, there is a style GAN. So GAN based models had a very much popularity. But then there came a new type of models which are diffusion based models. So these type of models were slightly different. Like they were granularly, like they used to reduce the noise from the images which was generated. Like, and the diffusion based models became a core for all the image generation models that we see now. Like any LLM model that you see, DALI is one type of a diffusion model. And there are other stable diffusion is one type of a diffusion model. So Midjourney and all of those are like a decision based models which are learning to generate things based on the given prompt and everything. So these type of models started to become very popular in the LLM space because they were very fine tuned one as compared to the GAN based models. So nowadays the GAN based models are not used much for for a simplistic application. Like this diffusion based models are very big in size, so you can't use them for like simple applications because the simple applications, they training them and creating them is a big thing. But the GAN based model can still be used for like a smaller subset of data, very specific application you want to work on in your industry. Then the GAN based models can be leveraged to build that thing. So one of the things is like the AI art. This is basically the creative fusion of ML algorithms and the human imagination, all of it like combined together, this whole transformation has created this experience. So AI art has been a dream of the AI space. Like, how do we generate this AI arts? Because nowadays, creating any kind of a art takes a lot of time. It's see, there's a lot of debate also going on in the industry that okay, should this artist uh, get the credibility for what is happening? There is a fight that is happening between Ghibli studio and the OpenAI company, saying that okay, this is our work that we have been famous for this. Now you have copied our work. So they have there is something which are going on. So these kind of ethical things are there in the back end, which are also going on. But the AI world has been dreaming of these things and been trying to work on these things from a good time. Okay, there's an interesting question I have from Karan is how is ChatGPT different from Google? Technically, it's understood, but how they work differently. Okay, uh, so Karan, see, Google is very different in terms of now from the Google. If you're comparing a Gemini, Gemini is a very different type of like Gemini and ChatGPT you can compare. But if you ask me like how the Google has been traditionally working, Google traditionally has been working in a very different way. It used to like index the whole web pages, like the whole content of the web pages. It used to index one by one, and then whenever a new question used to come, they used to search that content over their indexing and then find out which website has that content and give it to you. It used to be simply like you can say a good level of hardcode matching used to happen in the start. Then the Google models increased where they were also able to understand the natural language to some level. But now, this ChatGPT based models, they are not referencing or they are not trying to point to individual websites. All of that knowledge which is there in the internet, they have learned. It's like this model has eaten everything, the whole internet it has eaten in its stomach, and all of things are present as part of its stomach. And when you ask the question, it has learned that as it's a memory, but not as an individual website. It's all part of its memory now. Now, whenever you try to ask from the memory, it is trying to give you the output. If you ask like certain question, it goes to its memory and then try to give a response rather than actually referencing the website. Now there are websites like Perplexity and all, and even this ChatGPT, Gemini, all of these websites also now started to show that okay, they will give you the actual reference of the information from the internet. If it is trying to go through the internet for any latest information, the output that you see in the response, you will see that okay, this part of a content is coming from this URL, this part of a content is coming from this URL. So those are like recent advancements with respect to RAG and other things for internet search. But this model has learned the language, learn the information, all of it internally as a memory. So if you ask it a question, wherever it has learned from, the answer will not be very similar to that original snippet that it has learned from. The answer will be very different. So those are some slight differences. The ChatGPT big models are purely probabilistic next word generator model. Okay, we call them next word generator in terms of probability. These models have learned internally a probability that given a sequence of word, what is the probability of a new word? Okay, so when I'm talking right, see, when I'm talking right, now the next word, what will come when I'm talking right now is the next word. So what this model tries to know is for every possible word, what is the probability? In this model, the right now word is going to come in the highest probability. So that kind of probabilistic thing goes inside this model. Okay, so that's how it is different. Karan, I hope I'm able to answer your question. Okay, Jyoti asked, when I use prompts to create marketing images, even small edits cause big changes. How can I make minor tweaks without altering the whole design? So basically, like it all comes down to the prompting structure, I would say. How are you prompting? But are you trying with the latest models or you're trying with the older models? Okay, because with the latest models also, when you're making the edits, are you directly doing a new prompt, or you're just opening the image and then there is an edit option, and then you're using that edit option, or just you're creating a completely new prompt? So those are few things you should take care. Okay. Yeah. So Rakesh says, did AI and ML are useful for embedded DSP engineer or embedded software engineer? How is it useful, or it is only for software? Okay, so I may not know much about the embedded DSP, Rakesh, I would say, but if you can give a specific use case that you're looking into, there I may be able to help a bit, but I may not be able to answer in general about embedded DSP part here, I would say. Okay, so you're asking, I think, digital signal processing part. But digital signal processing, also the ML part, AI part are being used to do, just as per my knowledge, like uh, AI ML are being used to do predictions in terms of the signals which are there, any kind of a noise processing uh, in the signals, any kind of a time series predictions in the signal. So those kind of things are already part of the AI ML use cases which are there. Okay? So that's my limited knowledge, I would say. But if you have any specific thing, you can ask it, Rakesh. Okay. So coming to the GAN like early brushstrokes of AI art. So as I said, like GAN started all this thing around the images. Like the CNN-based models were good in understanding the given image, but GAN-based model were able to create images out of nothing. Like right now, you may not understand what do I mean by nothing, but you give it a noise, some type of a noise or some type of a input image. Even if you give a noise, it will be able to generate a model out of the noise. And sometimes you give it a one image and one style image, and then it will be able to learn those styles. It will be able to apply style of one image to the other image and then give you the output. This kind of things for a simple use cases, like different GAN-based models for different use cases used to be there. So GAN-based models is really what actually started this whole trend around learning the style, applying the styles uh, in the image-based models. And then the diffusion, redefining the whole AI creativity space in this. So this model like revolutionized the way the AI art created or generated images really from the scratch. So these are like big models, and they just changed the way things were happening before to that, and gave a good outputs. That's where they started becoming very famous. So with the diffusion model, started with the stable diffusion. So stable diffusion company came in with a good model. The way we have like OpenAI started like a trend around the generative AI for text. Stable Diffusion is a company that started a good trend in terms of the image-based generation. And then the DALI came in and all of it happened. But Stable Diffusion was a company and a model that really started for a bigger use cases. Like GAN-based models, you had to host them, you had to host the models and then run it. But now the Stable Diffusion, ChatGPT, all of these models, these are huge. So companies started to host their own models, and then they started to provide it as an API, where it started becoming available for the general public. Before to that, these models were not available for general public. People had like only technical people who had access to these models. They had to host it in their system, run the models, get the outputs. Okay, because those were very specific in terms of the usage. But stable diffusion and all, where you just have a prompt and from the prompt you are generating, this model were not something that everybody could run on their systems. They started exposing these models, and then it was a mass usage started with this one, like Mid Journey, Stable Diffusion, DALI. All of these are like some top image generation models which are there. So with the Stable Diffusion, AI creates images which are like very much enhanced reliability, detail, control, and like you can have some meticulous details in terms of every pixel level information. It takes time. It's not that simple that you get the output immediately, but you have to do the prompting, you have to do a lot of iterations, and then you will be able to see a good model as part of the output. Okay, good. So from copying to creating. Earlier, it used to be more of a copy based thing, like older models that used to replicate the existing styles. As I said, GAN based models used to, like, you give it a two different images. One is having one type of a style, and other is like your input, and one is only the style. You pass them, the model will learn the style between this, and then apply the style to the new model, new image, and then get you the output. So it was a copying of a style. But now it doesn't have to be. You just can add those kind of styles just with simple prompts, right? So these models allow you to uh, enable you to add image, like imagine and generate a brand new visuals with like very good stunning creativity. What you see over the online, see sometimes these images may not give you output in a single prompt. Okay, that's one thing. Um, there is an effort. It doesn't happen that okay, you give it a prompt, it's like a child. These are still like child where you ask them, okay, do this, but this child may not understand your instructions very well. You may have to tell them multiple times, okay, do this in a this way, do this in a this way. But you are still in control. You are the person who will have a control to say that, okay, what needs to happen, how to make it. So these models are at that stage right now. They don't understand your mind immediately. There is frustration that happens many times that okay, I imagine it in this way, I imagine it in this way, and I want it in this way, but I'm not getting it. So that is a slight struggle which will be there. But again, yeah, if you know really well what you really want, if you can give it a very detailed instructions, a good prompt, like it may be a one single page or a 2 to 3 pages of prompt, but you describe every single thing saying that, okay, this is what I really want at every part of it. This models will be able to generate to a good extent. Okay, it's possible to a good extent, they'll be able to generate it. Text to image based magic that has happened, like that has changed the whole thing. Before to that, um, this models are like prompting is available. We can converse with these models in a natural language. That's why these models have become so powerful, where you can just use some simple text prompts and those can be broken down into different images, technology, and like with your imagination. And good part is the human and AI collaboration. As I said, you have a control over these images. It's not like the jobs going and all. See, some part of it will happen, some jobs may go, but still, people who are creative, who have done this work from a good time, they can get their things done much faster with this model. Like whatever they used to imagine earlier and take a time to draw and develop, now those things can be reduced by a good time to uh, time can be reduced and we can get the output much faster way. Okay, and just not just the images, like beyond images, AI is multidimensional creativity which is going on in terms of the text, images, video, audio, all of it coming together. This AI is going for AGI, the artificial general intelligence, where we say that okay, what we humans have as a senses, like we can speak, we can talk, we can listen, all of the senses that we have, these AI models are also getting very good in that general sense. Okay, okay. So what really goes in the backend, like how these models learn the aesthetic? Let me just go through the questions which are there. Okay, Karan says another query. Artistic images can also be created by using different Snapchat filters. Then why is this Ghibli model viral, please? Okay, so Karan, see, uh, with Snapchat filters, these are just a layer on top of your existing images, right? But your original image will still remain very much similar. You're adding a one more filter layer on top of it. Those are like pixel level color changes, some more image recognition, and you add some more things on top of your images. But Ghibli art is not your original similar image, right? There are a lot of different changes that is happening. You can add a new person in the backend. It's not just that okay, you have the models can generate in live one more person from all the people who can do a lot more changes in terms of the background, the text adding. It used to be manually done things. Previous to that, what used to happen is with now imagine with Snapchat you can't do chat, talk, and get the output, right? Like imagine you're just going in a car and you just have something in your mind and you're talking to your ChatGPT that okay, please generate me this thing. And this model is able to understand your needs and then able to give this output, right? Now Ghibli can also be generated by someone who can hand draw this images and give it to you. But this thing where you are doing more of a communicative style, you are interacting with this model, they're able to understand your needs, they're able to understand the whole nitty-gritties which are there as part of your image, and then get to the output. Snapchat and all will have a lot of filters, but you are the person who will pick what you really want. You will go through multiple options, you will select the one and get the output. So there is a big difference between both of them. Okay, so Yogesh, you just mentioned Rally here, but I didn't get the question. Please, you can expand your question. That will be helpful. Okay. So how does like models really learn? Like this is also helicopter view. Internally, lot of things goes on into it. It's not just a 1 day or 1 hour session that we can cover this part. It's like a whole 2 to 3 months of 1 to 2 months of journey to understand the whole nitty-gritties that happens internally to learn like what is really happening. But at the high level, if you think of it, a very important part of any AI ML model is a data. Collecting the data that will represent what we really want to do, what we really want to achieve. So that's why like it is able to like capture a lot of Ghibli style images. It is they are creating first the image database of all the data that we want to represent as an output. So then the goal of the model will be to learn from the visual patterns which are seen repeatedly across these images. So what this model will try to learn is okay, what is really unique about these images? What kind of style, what kind of colors, how the things are being built, how the curves are being built. So this model will learn those nitty-gritties based on the humongous data that you provide to it. It will require a good amount of data to learn those things in a very detailed way. So that is the core part. So data becomes a very important part. The model will learn like what kind of color patterns are palettes are being applied, what kind of brush strokes are being applied in the styles, how the scene composition is happening, how the things look like. So all of those parts we want to bring in as a data first. Then the model will do the feature recognition out of it. Once you have a data, sorry. So these features are nothing but the characteristics that we have talked about here. So learning these characteristics is the feature recognition part. Like AI starts to recognize what are the key features which are present as part of this images, which define that it is being a Ghibli image, like Studio Ghibli type artistic images. There are like soft lighting, dreamy atmosphere, skies, like all of it, every single detail that is part of those different images. It's like you can imagine uh, the Studio Ghibli's, whatever the principles are, whatever the company has worked on till now to apply the unique USPs have been captured as part of this model. It will learn that whole mindset of artists that okay, what is happening at every single images. It try to see the commonalities, like all of the different images that we are giving. It will look at the commonalities. It will understand how they are common, what is unique as compared to the normal images. So it will not only be this images, also we will bring in the normal images so that model can understand in a better way that these are Studio Ghibli images, these are having this type of pattern, these are the normal images, these don't have this kind of pattern. So this is a unique one of a feature which is part of this Ghibli images. So those kind of learning model will be able to do by itself. Some effort from the humans is required to make these models go in that direction, but these models are capable enough to learn those nitty-gritties. And then applying the style transfer technique. So this style transfer, like it transfers this artistic style from the Ghibli examples that we have given in the training to the new data that we will be providing. So it retains that content structure, that original content structure, like all the people who are part of this. But I don't know, many of you have seen, how many of you have seen these Ghibli images? There is a article which said that in many of them, there is a ghost person that was getting created. Okay, if there are five people in the image, there will be one more person that the image will be one more person will be added in between in many of those images. Everyone used to say, okay, there's a ghost person that is getting added in these images. But yeah, in rare conditions, in some of the cases, that has also happened. So you still have to do iteration sometimes if the output is not what you expect by changing the prompts. Okay, then one of the ways is through the GANs. Like GANs, models like Ganilla, which are called as a uh, basically these are like GAN models, generative adversarial illustration models. So these are again some fine-tuned models for working with the styles. So this model like converts the photos to illustration style images, focuses, preserve the objects which are there. As I said, like GAN was very good in terms of the style transfer in the previous generation before the diffusion models. So here, like we have a Ganilla based model. Those are like some more advancements to the original GAN based model. So illustration style transfer. These are like special model designed specifically for photo to illustration transformation. So it can try to maintain and preserve that real world information, that real life information that is present in the original image, and also try to take care that, okay, how do we integrate the additional transfer of the style with respect to this style. So that is happening with this. Then the finally like the recent things. So as I said, like this used to happen previously, where you have to manually give these things and then the model will be able to do it. But now with the diffusion-based model, the interesting thing is you can work with the prompts. Using the prompts, this model can try to learn lot more things other than only the style. This GAN-based models used to be specific to style. They can't go beyond that. But with this diffusion model, they can also cater to styles. They can also cater to other kind of generation. So they are like a multi-purpose models. And at the end, the final image generation happens. Like it just combines all of that knowledge and applies from the user prompt. Okay. So at a high level, internally, this is what is happening from this model's learning perspective. So difference, if we think of it, um, basically the creation process, like AI generated art uses the pre-existing data and algorithm. It can't think creatively out of the box and make something very different. The human may try to add a lot of emotional depth to it, artistic style to it. He may add something creatively. He can merge multiple styles together and give some kind of a new output. Humans can do that with their own creativity, but AI will be limited to its all learnings based on whatever patterns it has seen. It can't come up with a new style. Whereas humans can come up, but AI can also sometimes randomly come up with new kind of things. But those will be very random. But with humans, it will be very uh, known thing. Like they'll be doing it by the mean that okay, we want to create something different. But there'll be a lot of emotional depth and everything, and that will be visible when you see a human generated image versus the AI generated image. Motion and animation things right now the systems are not good in terms of like creating a whole storytelling part of it. Before some time, using the same type of characters was not possible. Like um, what used to happen if you are generating multiple images as part of a story and you have a one character, that character you want to replicate across, that used to be slightly difficult before the new recent advancements. But as per the OpenAI, their website mentions that you can have a one single character, and that character can be given a different roles. You can create a whole story building out of it. May not be very accurate, but to some level, you can create a story with specific characters. You can have those characters, and those characters can uh, you can use to generate a story out of it. Okay, and this is more of a human is uh, that will be very natural for us. To, okay, one character, the human may practice a lot of time to draw, and he will get good with those characters, and then he'll be able to replicate those characters in the same way in multiple images to create a story. Okay, that doesn't happen with AI generated things in a simple way as of yet. There will be a lot of imperfections in terms of the details. um, Sometime back, like few years back, when the images were getting generated, many times you will see that the lips are not good, the eyes are not good, the nose is curved, the hands are like you have 5 fingers but 7, 8 fingers, or 3, 2 fingers. So those kind of imperfections were very common in the images. Those things are slightly improved, but still now this kind of imperfections will still be a part of this images which are getting generated, right? But with the hand drawn, it will be very organic and have a subtle variations in that. So if we talk about the future, let me just see if there are any questions. Yogesh has asked me a question in pure Hindi text. Okay, Yogesh, I will answer you in some time. Let's conclude the session and I'll come to your question. Okay. So while AI replacement is a one general question that everyone has, but AI can't replace the human touch. The way we get the output from the human touch is very different. Ghibli art is not just for one single frame. The studio art, Ghibli art is not just like creating one single frame, but they create a whole movies out of it. So right now we are just able to generate a one single frame. Creating the movie is not easy as of yet. So those are two different things. It can assist in creating artistic background designs. It can help you brainstorm. It can help you come up with a lot of character ideas. So doing the brainstorming with the AI, you can get some lot of different ideas that initially takes a lot of time. Like for example, a person is drawing multiple styles on a continuous basis. It may take like a whole day to get some 20, 30 images. But with ChatGPT, you can get, or any generative model, you can get maybe like a 20, 30 within an hour. Within an hour, you may be able to generate these different variations to some level that a human can take a good time to generate those variations, right? So those things can speed up with this model. Automating a repetitive task like coloring, shading, all of those things. You give it a image and ask the model to define the colors. Right? See, when you generate this initial outputs, you may see a different color idea. That okay, the way it is able to generate the colors, the way it is able to create the backgrounds, it is able to color the characters and all of that will give you a lot of different ideas, right? That may take a time for a human to come up with, and it can provide a lot of inspiration for the concept arts, right? So a lot of inspiration can come from this. People may get the ideas, and then those ideas can be taken forward, and something big can be created out of it. Okay, so that's where all of the thing goes in, be it a code generation, image generation, any type of generative thing that is happening. All of these models can like will give you a good inspirations to work on ideas, brainstorming, and then a human has to take them to a next level when you're creating something big. And long-term impact, like the main thing is it will be reducing a good amount of manual effort, repetitive tasks that will happen. It will have enhanced creativity, help like artists to generate this new styles easily, and democratizing the art. Not everyone right now can see why this Ghibli art is getting so trending is people were not able to get their images converted to this artistic styles, but now everyone can do it. Everyone in their hand has this beautiful tool that can allow them to get this artistic structures. So this will become like democratized for all the people. Okay, so with that, let me just see if in terms of the question, how is it possible to edit 3 hour Ghibli art movie? So Kedar, uh, see that won't be a goal or a possibility as of yet. Like creating a 3 hour movie, as I mentioned, right now we are able to create the stills. but creating a whole story out of it is something that is still not that progressed. The images which are there, like they can generate an even a video for maybe like 10, 20, 30 seconds. But right now, these models are not good to generate a big sequences. You may have to sit, generate a lot of different ideas. Like if you are a person who creates a 3 hour movie, the whole process you can simplify by brainstorming what all things are possible, how the things can be represented, how the characters can be represented. This thing can be brainstormed in the starting day itself, and then the whole movie creation process can be sped up. But creating a whole movie just using the ChatGPT or generative AI models right now is is not something that is possible. Okay, can you help summarizing the steps involved in converting a normal image to Ghibli art image? Okay. See, as a um, human, when we are interacting directly with the chat GPT, you are asking it from that perspective or from a model's perspective, the internal working perspective, Pratibha. From the model perspective, see, there are a lot of things that goes in. So one is the DALI model, which is there. That DALI model is already fine-tuned from the stable diffusion perspective for the image generation. Okay, so this model has their own overall working structure, like how they actually learn the internal content of the data. Okay, so going through that in a small time won't be possible, like how the models really learn inside that. But the generative model try to, like as I mentioned, these models are trying to learn the probabilistic way of recognizing what is the next pixel or what is the next text based on the given information till now. So whatever the current information is available, they will be able to generate a next word predictor or a next token predictor. Internally, every word or every pixel that is represented in this is more of a token, and these tokens are getting generated internally to from the learning. So whatever learning it has got, this model will start splitting one by one the tokens. And this token will be represented as a text, as an image, and as output. Okay. So going ahead about the great learning, they are a leading edtech company for both professional and higher education and provides the best completion rate over the industry. And if you're interested to learn more about the AIML, so there's a good program around 12 months program that will have a good 600 hours plus of online content. There'll be personalized mentoring sessions. You will have a dedicated career support and like doubt solving and everything will be part of the whole program. And best in class faculty who are like industry experts and also professionals in from the different good universities, they will be taking, they have curated the content, taking the content, so will be available over this program. It will cover different sections like foundations, and it will also have a self-paced modules where a lot of things will be able to learn, and over the course you will be able to focus on the important parts. Domain exposure like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, neural networks, computer vision, NLP, and all the major tools which are famous in terms of the AI ML space like Pandas, NumPy, Keras, all of that will be part of the learning. And it will be an immersive experiential learning with the projects, hackathon, peer-to-peer networks, all of it being a part of it. Okay, so you will get a feedback link from the team. So you can fill in your details if you want to get more details, you have a questions around this program. So you will be able to connect with them for the details. So you can fill the form, you have a feedback, anything you can put it over that. Will AI be, yeah, Pratibha. So it uses a decision based models internally, right? So Kedar asks, will AI be evolving into company CEO over the years? Okay, so if you ask me over the years, Kedar, see, these things are growing so fast. Predicting even the next 6 months is very difficult, I would say. Okay, so the progress that has happened till now over last 1 2 years has been very dramatic, right? Like no one expected that okay, this kind of things can happen. So over the 1 to 2 years, imagining like how these things will be, I think even now there are uh, agentic CEOs available. Some companies are working on creating simulated company. Like you will have a financial agent, like you have a CFO, CTO, CEO, like your team will be there. You'll be able to ask them questions. You will be ask them. They will be your, what do I say that, like will be part of your board. Any kind of a question. The early stage startups, right? You want a virtual online agentic CEOs, CTOs, CFOs. All of this will be available. So many companies are coming in this style where some part of a burden for the CEOs can be reduced. But the question that you have is, can a complete CEO who's like a full-fledged CEO for a bigger companies, and that will till take a time, I would say. But may come or may not come. It's still very difficult to say. Okay, great guys. I think it was a wonderful session to interact with you all. I hope this I was able to impart some knowledge to you all. With that, like we'll conclude if there are no questions. Great. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for being here. Have a great time. Bye. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rishikesh, for that insightful session. As you said, we got a helicopter view of the Ghibli images, like how is it generated. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
And yeah. And others, please take a moment to fill the feedback form. I'll just wait for a couple more minutes. Yeah, please copy the link and then fill the feedback form even when the session is off. It would be of great help for us. Yogesh has a doubt. Yes, Yogesh. Uh, Yogesh, I didn't get your question. What is this webinar? Is that your question? I didn't get your question, sorry. What is... So here in this webinar, we got to know about this, how AI is learning to generate Ghibli image, as the speaker mentioned. Just the overview of it, not the entire algorithm is explained. And of course, about the AI/ML program that is offered. Do you provide a recording of this webinar? Yes, yes. So whatever questions are there, just post it in the feedback form shared. One of our learning consultant will get back to you. Please post your questions in the feedback form shared. Mm. Pratibha, yeah, one of our team member will get back to you if this is the case, as you mentioned. For past 10 days, is it? Okay. Within tomorrow, I'll just share you the update, Pratibha. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Pratibha. Cool then, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. And please, please fill the feedback form. It would be of great help for us. Thank you and have a great evening again. Thank you.